I'm Ian Dilly.
And I am Michael Sheehan. We are going to do a quick little preview of our personal favorites and underdogs for the upcoming Vuelta España title.
Which, of course, you can watch live and on demand in Canada. I am going to open up with my favorite, Richard Carapaz, the 2019. Okay, I've just learned that Richard Carapaz is not doing the 2019 Vuelta España. He crashed on Sunday following the Vuelta at Burgos, hurt his shoulder, and has pulled out of the race. But the Vuelta taketh and the Vuelta giveth. Astana's Jakob Fuglsang has recently announced that he will be doing this year's Vuelta a España. Fuglsang, of course, has been on a tear this entire season. He was on the podium in almost every race he did this spring. Second at Flèche Wallonne, third at Amstel Gold, and of course first at Liège-Bastogne-Liège. After winning the Critérium du Dauphiné, he went into the Tour de France as an odds-on favorite. Unfortunately, he crashed out of the Tour on stage 15. But after a little bit of rest and recuperation, he has signed on to compete in the Vuelta. He's been pretty clear that he does not yet have the legs to come as an overall contender, and with the mountainous first 9 days of the Vuelta, he will not necessarily have time to find his form before the GC battle really begins. But this does significantly strengthen an already incredibly strong Astana team, and thus I am changing my pick to Superman Miguel Angel Lopez. Lopez, of course, was 7th at the Giro d'Italia this year and won the Young Riders jersey. This after crashing into a fan and getting into an altercation on the final mountain stage. Lopez has performed incredibly well at the Vuelta in the past. He won 2 stages in 2017 and landed on the podium in 2018, finishing 3rd. Fuglsang's support in the team time trial as well as in the mountains will be key to Lopez finally taking his first Grand Tour victory. I am all in for Superman Miguel Angel Lopez for the 2019 Vuelta.
I, on the other hand, am going to go with Steven Kruijswijk as my favorite for the Vuelta España title. He has been the figure of consistency all year. Let me just read through some of his results. He was 3rd at Vuelta Andalucía, 5th at Catalunya, 6th at Romandy. He didn't finish the Dauphiné, but that doesn't really matter because he went on to get 3rd overall at the Tour de France. And this is the reason why I am picking him as my favorite. Steven Kruijswijk never got the opportunity to put all his cards on the table at the Tour de France, with the last 2 mountain stages being curtailed. I think that Steven Kruijswijk is exceptionally hungry for a Grand Tour win. The Tour de France, that was a near miss for him, and then the Giro d'Italia quite a few years ago when he crashed out of the pink jersey. He's desperate for a Grand Tour win, and this seems to be the year that he is on his best form. Jumbo-Visma, they have Primož Roglič, who is they're calling the leader of the team, but I think that Kruijswijk is going to be right up there and will jump at the first opportunity to put himself in the red jersey.
Really changed your tune since going all in on Roglič for the Giro.
Well, fool me once, Ian. Fool me once. I was blindly in support of Primož Roglič for the entire Giro. You may remember every day I never lost faith in him until the bitter end, and he let me down. Not making that same mistake again. I don't think he's recovered, honestly. He was just so tired after that. I don't think he's going to be back on Grand Tour winning form.
Roglič has done 1 race since the Giro d'Italia. He was 4th at the Slovenian National Championship. So, yeah, big question mark over his head for sure. Let's get into the underdogs. I am going with the Colombian rider Rigoberto Urán on EF Education First. Urán is a perennial podium finisher on Grand Tours. He has 2 podium finishes at the Giro d'Italia and a podium finish at the Tour de France to his name. The Vuelta has not really been his Grand Tour. Last year was his best finish in Spain's Grand Tour. He finished 7th overall. But EF is bringing an incredibly strong team to this race. I think it's maybe even stronger than their Tour de France team, solely backing Rigoberto Urán. They have Danny Martinez, Hugh Carthy, and who else do they have for the mountains?
Boston Craddock.
No, I thought they had Joe Dombrowski. They did not have Joe Dombrowski. They have Sergio Higuita for the mount. Sergio Higuita, who of course finished second overall at the Tour of California, another young Colombian star. And then for the team time trial on stage 1, TJ Van Garderen and of course Lawson Craddock, who recently broke the record on the Lost Creek KOM here in Austin, Texas. Yeah, I think, Rigoberto Urán is one of those riders that could well be in the, the odds-on favorite role for the Vuelta based on his previous performances at Grand Tours. But like I said, the Vuelta has never really been his Grand Tour. We'll see if he can turn around this year.
A good choice. I am also going with a Colombian for my dark horse pick for the Vuelta, Esteban Chavez. Esteban Chavez, his career was a little bit derailed last year. He had Epstein-Barr virus. He had to take a whole 8 months off the bike after last year's Giro d'Italia. He has, however, finished on the podium at both the Giro d'Italia and the Vuelta a España, and this year's Giro was just such a race of redemption for Esteban Chavez. He won stage 19 to San Martino di Castroza in really beautiful fashion. He just attacked everybody else into submission until he got away solo. He won in front of his entire family. That was incredible to see Chavez finding his legs again. And if he can continue on that trajectory, I think that he can put together a really, really good Vuelta a España. He's young, he has so much talent, and his Grand Tour racing days are really just beginning, I think.
Also has the best smile in the pro peloton.
Yeah, he just melts your heart.
Fan favorite.
Yeah.
All right. Check back for our next video where we will be going through the jerseys for the young rider points and sprint competition.